Hello, everyone. My name is Wyatt Anderson. I am a studio intern here under Wiley Ross, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to utilize the MIDI drum kit that I made for hip hop and how to make a hip hop song in about half an hour. So, if y'all would bear with me, let's get right into it. This is the first screen you'll see when you first open Ableton Live 9, and you see that there'll be options for MIDI as well as audio down here. Now, MIDI is a lot better to use when it comes to making hip hop, in my opinion, for a bass structure, and then you layer it with audio on top of that. So let's start with a basic hip hop kit that I made. If you just type in my name, y'all can probably rename it if you want to, but for right now it's under Wyatt. And then you go to user library. Once you're there, there's going to be an option for presets. Then you open audio effects and then instruments and drum rack, and under that it'll be Wyatt Hip Hop Kit. So I've already done us the favor and uploaded it to the first MIDI track. It's super easy to do that yourself. If you ever curious, you just click and drag into the first available MIDI kit. It's not going to work for your audio. So once you have it in there, you can test it out. Now all of those are linked. If you can take a look to different notes on any keyboard or any MIDI instrument that you're going to be using, you can reassign it by going up here to the upper right hand corner where it says MIDI, and you'll see some MIDI mappings, and most of them, when it comes to MIDI instruments, it's automatic, so there's that luxury there. It's already synced to all these audio clips that I actually took from an external instrument that I really like using, the Roland JDXI. Now once you guys have that, you'll go over here to the BPM, and let's delete automation for right now. And what I like to do when making a basic drum loop is use the loop function, which is this little guy up here. So if you left click on it, drag him to whichever starting measure you want and however long you want the loop to go. So I guess for our purposes, we'll make it how about an 8-bar loop? That just a little bit more length. And once you have that in order, this little box up here, which will usually be appearing gray at first, if you click on it and it's green, that means it's in the on position, and that's your metronome, which is going to be really useful if you're recording. So I'm going to put that on, make sure that there's no bar count in, and the next step would be to record. You want to make sure that you're arming whichever track you're using. So if you're using an external instrument, you're going to be using audio track, and you'll make sure that it's armed. And if you're curious if your MIDI instrument isn't appearing as a available instrument, you might have to download the driver, or just check and make sure that it's under the MIDI preferences. So for Ableton, you're gonna go and use Command comma to look at system preferences, and down here under Link MIDI, you gotta make sure that whichever MIDI instrument you're using, it's set to track and remote. Whichever one you're using, you just got to make sure that it's registering as an input. Here is my little guy, JDXI. At the bottom, you can see that it's linked. And if you're going to use it as an audio instrument, you got to make sure that it's linked to the audio input device. Also, the output, for right now, we're using the Motu preamp, so that's what I have it set as. Alright, without further ado, let's keep the sample rate low. Let's get started. Right click, loop. that sounded cool. Let's listen to it. Now I'm pausing it using the space bar. Bring it back. That was obviously off. Let's wait for a section that we like. Alright, I liked that one. So let's make sure that it is symmetrical with the 8 bars. So we're going to take 4 bars out of there. Command X to cut it. Click on the top bit, the colored bit of whichever recording you have in the MIDI track. Delete. Now to line it up with the first measure, Command V to paste, and then Command D when it's selected to duplicate. Easy as that. As you can tell, the first beat is not being registered, and let's see why. Left click twice, and it brings you to sample view. When you're down here, let's enlarge this a little bit. When you're down here, scroll down until you see whichever part of the drum kit you've recorded, because as you can know, there's a lot of different sounds that I included in this drum kit. Thought you guys would enjoy. To zoom in, you go to the very top of the sample viewer, and you drag it down. Here you go. Once you're here, you have the option to take these little bit of MIDI instrumentation and really finesse it. Down here you'll see velocity markers. If you want a drum hit to be a little bit quieter, you would bring the velocity down just by bringing it down. As you can tell, it gets a little louder, but we want that first kick to be pretty loud. So once again, zoom in a little. As you can see, there's a little bit of overlap, which is why the first beat is not being registered. So let's fix that. Make sure all the beats are right on time, you know, for the basic track. It's really up to your discretion. I don't want to cramp your style if you want it a little off the beat, but this is how you do utilize this MIDI function. Right now I'm just using a kick, 808 kick, and cool digital snare that I like. Let's get rid of this guy. Alright, that sounded on point. So now that we have that, let's make sure that we duplicate the corrected version. Once again, Command D. Let's just get rid of that first. Select it, Command D. There we go. Pretty simple. Sounds on point with the metronome. Let's continue. Lessen the session view. Let's go back to MIDI. For the sake of time, if you ever want to duplicate a drum rack that's already in a MIDI track, then let's go right click over it, go to duplicate. Or you could just select it, Command D, wait for it. It's a lot of information in this one drum kit. If you guys ever want to change it up, it's very simple, and I'll probably have another tutorial video on that. But let's stay focused. Get rid of those guys. And you can still hear that it's linked to the same drum kit. I have bongos, I have kicks, I have several different types of snare rim hits, as well as hi-hats, closed and open. So let's add a bit of flair with the hi-hat. That sounds cool. Let's go. Record. Make sure that the track is armed. The metronome on if you want. That sounded cool. I'm just Command C, Command V for copy and pasting. Alright, I like this first bit right here, so let's copy that. Alright, if you want to get out of this track view, or session view, and then go to the track view, that's how you go to that to adjust the volumes for each very easily if you ever want to bring your snare down. You don't necessarily have to record these separately, but that's just my way of doing things. An effect that I like to use sometimes on the hi-hats is a bit of reverb. I know that's not typical, but yet again, that's kind of the beauty of hip-hop. So type in reverb under audio effects, drag it in, and you can increase the effect by the dry and wetness of it, bottom right hand corner. Why not have a little bit of more reverb than necessary? Again, under audio effects, another cool effect to use is delay, simple delay. You can really mess with the delay time based on millisecond, I think, and how much it's going to be delaying in the right and left speakers, as well as how much of this simple delay effect is going to be present, including the amount of feedback. So you can really finesse the type of simple delay that you want in each track. That sounds cool. Alright. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to use my audio instrument to just make this go a little bit quicker. But really, you could use another MIDI track and select one of these awesome instruments here. Synth lead, synth keys, strings, anything you ever want. You know what? Which one do you guys like? I think I like this one. It's really not that special. See if it works. Alright. Registers with my MIDI. Let's play play it with the beat. Metronome on, arm the track, record. That sounded cool. Make sure that that one, all these guys are registering. Alright, that sounds good. Keep going. Go back to audio effects. Choose your toppings. EQ it if you want. Reverb. Actually, let's get a little crazy with the cathedral. And then another effect I really like to use is under EQ8 filter cheesy speaker. Because in hip hop you're really trying to accentuate different types of frequencies. In my opinion, it's better to kind of have a few basic ones compartmentalized so that you can layer stuff on top of that. Let's add another track. Alright, one more MIDI track and then we'll be done, I think. Instruments. Let's check out some bass. That sounds cool. repeat the process. Oh. Compressor. Threshold down. Output out. Do not abuse this power. That's honestly it, y'all. If you want to go deeper into it, I would suggest to consolidate information, freezing your tracks. So right click, freeze track. Once you have that, flatten. If you look in the right hand corner, it's gonna show you your CPU usage, or your, the space that you're using every second you have Ableton open. It's gonna show a little percentage number up there. It should be relatively low. Don't have it above like 40% because you're gonna start hearing a cut, and that's not what you want to have. When trying to record, there's gonna be increased latency. It's just not gonna be fun for anybody. So you really want to make sure that you're storing information while you're going along. So let's freeze all these tracks real quick. Trust me, this will save you a lot of heartache and confusion because it's going to force you to just be okay with your decisions when you're making tracks. You're not going to be able to make a perfect track. I'm able to do this as quickly, or relatively quickly, I guess, because I'm in here all the time. And if you guys want to get this good, then I would encourage all you guys to put in the work. Let's flatten this one. See how little information is being used because it's not having to register all the MIDI drum kits. It's just stored as audio information. So the cool thing is that all these MIDI tracks are now converted to audio tracks when you freeze it. Great useful tip. And something that I like to do once at this junction is add a little flair with some reversing of the samples or parts of the sample. Usually the main melodic line is kind of cool to do. So you can single out these tracks while you're looking at the loop by pressing this S in the session view. I like that one. Command X, Command V. Now left click on it twice to go back into sample view. There's this little guy down here that says Rev. Rev stands for reverse. That's gonna sound nice. hope you guys enjoyed this small tutorial, and please take advantage of the drum kit that I used under user library, Wyatt HipHop kit. It's really gonna, in my opinion, help all of you guys develop in this genre of music. And with that, I say goodbye and have an excellent summer, or wherever you are listening to this.